Hey guys, it's Kristin Althea O'Connor from Wise Owl Minerals. Thank you for joining me for today's class, and I appreciate you hanging in there. I know I haven't taught class in a little while. I caught a cold. The universe told me to sit down and rest, and so I've been doing that. I've had more pho in the last couple weeks than you can imagine. All sorts of healing herbs and everything else, so I'm resting and doing great and glad to be back. And I wanted to talk to you guys about the class I taught last night on movement. So we had a class on movement. This is our first class entering spring. I was so excited to teach this class so close to when spring started. And we focused on two items in that class. We focused on the stone Howlite, and we focused on Serenity essential oil. So Howlite, I'm going to zoom in so you can see. These are some pieces of Howlite. It's a beautiful stone. I used to not love this stone, I have to admit, mostly because you can find this stone easily, which is normal for some stones, but it's a stone that's often dyed and then sold as turquoise. And you can tell, I mean, you can see that the design on that looks just like turquoise if it was blue. So that was one of the reasons I never had given this stone the attention it deserves until I started learning more about it. And Howlite is such an amazing stone for the wood element and for the springtime. So what we talked about in class yesterday was this rising energy that is the spring. We've been in winter, it's slow, it's still, it's calm, and then all of a sudden spring happens and there is just this uproar of energy. And it's really intense. And so one of the most important things I wanted to talk about in class, and one of the most important things you can focus on in your meditation, is making sure that the movement is feeling in balance with you. It is very, very common. I think this is the easiest season to see out of balance. When people come into the treatment room, there's a lot of migraines, headaches, and anger. Lots of anger because there's just so much movement happening. And I had this great question from a woman in class last night. She said, well, I don't feel anger, you know, why? And she explained to me what she was feeling, which was all of this new energy and the ability to clean and get organized and tackle projects. And I said, that is the wood energy in balance, and that's what you want. And that's what I want this class to bring about, is that feeling of movement in balance. So that's what we're focusing on. So if you can get yourself some Howlite, get a couple pieces. These are just some sweet little tumbles, but they're really nice. A really good quality Howlite is going to have a really soft finish to it. I love that. You know, tumbled stones will always be very smooth, but Howlite just has a softness to it. And what it does for somebody coming into the springtime is allows for that movement, that full expression, but at the same time softening. It just takes the edge off a little bit so you can have a proper expression of who you are. You know, you should be able to express who you are. You don't need to be in somebody's face about it. And that's what Howlite does, is it allows you that freedom, that kind of burn your bra freedom of being yourself, but at the same time just takes the edge off. And then speaking of taking the edge off, the oil that we focused on in class is Serenity essential oil. I love this oil. It is such a powerful oil for calming you down, specifically when it's related to anger and frustration. And again, you don't have to be an angry person to have a little bit of that frustration come up, because, you know, it's the season and it's common. And this oil, really powerful oil. It was one of the very first oils I used in my treatment room. I did a treatment on a patient who came in and had been angry. Same thing. This always happens. People come in, they say, oh, I've been angry for like 2 weeks. I can't figure out why. And he was just really frustrated, and he knew it, and he was able to call it out. And so we worked on it in the treatment, and all we did was 3 needles and this essential oil, and he had no sense of smell at all. I just put it on a little cotton ball on, you know, an eye pillow, and just let him breathe it in. And when he finished, he said it was the most powerful treatment he's had in 13 years of acupuncture, which is a huge compliment because he's had some amazing practitioners. And I know this oil was the thing that pushed him over the edge and just took away the anxiety and the anger that was building up in him. So this is what I would like you to do. If you have the opportunity, get yourself some Serenity essential oil. This is from doTERRA. It's a blend specifically from doTERRA. And then get yourself some Howlite If you have trouble finding either of these items, I'm happy to help you out. Please contact me. You might be able to find them locally otherwise, but again, remember, good Howlite has that, if it's polished, it's going to have a softness to it, and Serenity essential oil is just amazing. So meditate with these, see if you can think about the energy of the spring and how that's coming up right now, all of that energy rising up so quickly. You know, we talked about in class the energy, it takes a little sprout to burst through the soil. You know, think about that. That is what is happening around you and in you right now. And if you can harness that, if you can have that come to you in a powerful but more controlled way, you're going to have a beautiful expression of movement for the beginning of spring. So I encourage you to go out there, try this meditation, let me know how it goes. In class we talked a lot for a while, and then we talked a lot about the springtime, and then we went into this meditation for 20 minutes. So try it out, 20-minute meditation, let me know how it goes. I look forward to your feedback as always, and again, I am grateful for you guys. Just a little hint for next class, we're not going to have a class next week. I'm going out of town to celebrate my 40th birthday and our first wedding anniversary. So I will be out of town, but the week after that I will be back, and we will be covering creativity. So stay tuned for that. Look forward to it. Thanks, guys.